In June 2016, Ukrainian political prisoner Yurii Ilchenko made a dramatic escape from his detention in the Russian-occupied Crimea. His testimony about his ordeal in the Russian prison and his subsequent escape provides new insight about the extent of human rights violations by Russian occupying forces in the Crimea. Yurii Ilchenko, a former private school director in Sevastopol, was arrested on July 2, 2015, following the Russian annexation of the Crimea. Among the reasons given for his persecution and arrest was his categorical refusal to give in to the demand of Russian occupying forces that he and his family accept Russian citizenship. In his private school, Ilchenko organized a celebration of the anniversary of Ukrainian independence, to which he invited local television. In social media, he appealed for a total blockade of the Crimea by the Ukrainian government in order to interrupt the workings of the occupying government. For this, Ilchenko was charged with the incitement of a terrorist act. He spent 11 months in decrepit conditions in a Russian prison. He was kept in a cell with hardened criminals, with only one bed available for every 3 inmates. He was beaten and tortured on a daily basis and lost 30 kilograms as a result of malnutrition. In the prison, televisions blared Russian propaganda 24 hours a day. On June 2, 2016, Ilchenko was transferred from prison to house arrest. During his press conference in Kyiv on August 17th, Ilchenko described his daring escape, how he managed to leave his apartment dressed in his father's jacket and with a cane, how he was able to get to the demarcation line between the Crimea and mainland Ukraine, and how he had to cross through a forest laced with landmines in order to make his way to the mainland. Alim Aliyev, the co-founder of the NGO Crimea SOS, Crim SOS, which monitors the situation in the Russian-occupied Crimea and helps people displaced from there, said that Ilchenko arrived in Lviv on June 16th, but that his arrival was kept secret in order to secure the transfer of Ilchenko's elderly parents from the Crimea. It was only after this that Ilchenko's story could be made public. The story of Yurii Ilchenko's incarceration is only the tip of the iceberg in a broader landscape of human rights abuses occurring in the Crimea after the illegal occupation of the Crimea by Russia. There are now indications that the Soviet-era practice of using psychiatric hospitals for the incarceration and persecution of political opponents is being taken up anew by Russian occupation forces in the Crimea. On August 11th, a Simferopol court ruled that noted CrimeanTatar activist Ilmi Umerov, the deputy chairman of the CrimeanTatar Mejlis, must be placed in involuntary detention in a psychiatric clinic for quote-unquote examination. This in conjunction with a case in which he is charged with, quote, calls for actions aimed at the violation of the territorial integrity of the Russian Federation, end quote. Basically, this charge relates to the fact that Ilmi Umerov protested against the illegal annexation of the Crimea by Russia. The Moscow-based Memorial Human Rights Center has called the case against Umerov illegal and politically motivated. Umerov suffers from debilitating medical conditions that require constant treatment. Without such treatment, he could die. This year, Ukraine is celebrating its 25th anniversary of independence, and yet Ukrainian language in Ukraine continues to languish. In the wake of over 200 years of deliberate Russification efforts, and these efforts were particularly pervasive and aggressive during the Soviet era, the population of many cities and regions in Ukraine remains primarily Russian-speaking. Too many people treat the Ukrainian language as second-rate and not full-fledged. Much of the modern media in Ukraine still gives preferential treatment to Russian language programming, and the government, for the time being, does not have effective methods for supporting Ukrainian language development in Ukraine. In such a depressed cultural climate, volunteer and non-governmental language initiatives are especially vital. This year, to mark the 25th anniversary of Ukrainian independence, young people from several community organizations have organized what they have named Movo Marathon 25, Language Marathon 25. They are calling for as many people as possible to speak only Ukrainian for 25 days in order to condition themselves to speak Ukrainian regularly after that. For this initiative, the organizers have prepared interesting activities, meetings, and interactive events, and have put together a wide array of practical tips for easing a person's transition to everyday communication in Ukrainian. The marathon slogan is «Переходь на українську, стань незалежним». Switch to Ukrainian, become independent. Thus far, over 4,000 participants have registered to take part in the language marathon. Registration is open to everyone, including people outside of Ukraine. I'm Tania Stech, and this was Ukraine in the News.
Dobry den. I'm Kathleen Wynne, Premier of Ontario. I want to wish you all the best as we celebrate 25 years of Ukrainian independence. As we honor the heroism of those who fought so bravely for their homeland, we must also recognize the sacrifices being made today to secure that independence and reaffirm our unwavering commitment to a free and sovereign Ukraine. For more than 125 years, the Ukrainian-Canadian community has helped build a culture of diversity, equality, and prosperity across our province. So thank you for everything that you do to enrich the lives of the people of Ontario. Slava Ukraini!
Хочемо запросити українців Канади на Blur Festival, який відбудеться 17 вересня. Ми антитіла дамо там великий сет. Із України найкращий щирий привіт!